Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We are going to be starting week 14. We are almost there. We are getting really close. So, this week will be the last week that you're having basically your full week. And then next week is going to be our Thanksgiving break. So, there's going to be no assignments due next week. And also, next week is a good time too, if you have any catching up to do, if you have some assignments that you've missed or anything like that. Next week would be a good time to go ahead and get those turned in, even if you're going to get the late grade, just so you can still get points for them. So just keep that in mind. I do want to point out that I have a large snoring dog in the background. So if you hear any weird noises, that's just because my dog is in the background sleeping on the bed. And I'm trying to talk quiet because I just put my kids in bed. So I'm trying not to wake them up. So basically for this week, we're going to be starting the pre-writing assignment that's going to essentially get you prepared for completing your final paper, which is what your final is going to be for this class. So we do a pre-writing activity that kind of really gets into some details about delving into either the career field and your future success that you've chosen, or even if there's a career field that you haven't necessarily for sure chosen yet, but there's some things that you're potentially interested in, you're still going to be using that as the basis for you preparing to write your paper for your final during week 16. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the course evaluations have now opened for pretty much all of your classes. So that is something that we try to encourage students to do, not just for this class, but also for your other classes. And it's not just an opportunity for students to be able to say what they didn't like about a class, but it really is an opportunity for students to let not only the school, but the professors, to let the people who are over us, like our deans, know exactly things that worked well and then things that could be improved upon, because that's something that we're always striving to do, is trying to improve the classes to make them better, more useful. And I do understand right now with COVID and everything that's going on, and students for the most part having to take a large chunk of online classes, and it may not be their preference in a way to take classes. It may make things a little bit more negative in a sense about taking classes and the way that things are presented to them. And we do understand that. And I mean, it's likely next year that this is still going to be ongoing, where more online classes are going to have to be taken instead of face-to-face classes. And it's always good for us to try to improve things or make things a little bit better if we can. So that way, we just want to make our classes as best we can so students are able to learn and succeed. So I do want to show you here. So you're going to see on our class page, there's actually a link here for you to click on within Canvas to go to the course evaluations. They're really quick. They only take a few minutes to do. There's just some questions, and then you do have the opportunity to like write a little bit if there's, things that you liked about the class or things that, you felt that could be improved upon. We like constructive criticism. Sometimes we get criticism that we don't always like, but hey, that's life and we need to learn from that. And that's the point. So I do encourage you to do the course evaluations for this class and for your other classes as well, so we can try to improve the classes and make them better, especially if we have to keep doing the online courses for a lot of the courses, probably going forward into next year. Now, one thing I do want to say is that I do offer bonus points for completing the course evaluations, and you will see a folder that's going to be open. It's going to be its own folder that's not going to be a part of the weekly folder, and you'll find it right underneath the week 14 folder. And so what you want to do if you want to try to get the bonus points for it is you need to complete the course evaluation for our course. So you would select our College Life and Strategies course, do the course evaluation. At the end of the course evaluation, you should get a dashboard page that basically will list all of the classes that you're currently enrolled in. And if you've completed the course evaluations, you're going to see a check mark next to our class name that's going to basically show that you completed the course evaluation for our class. Now, you just need to take a screenshot of that, and then you're going to post it in the bonus points assignment. And then I will give you the 3 bonus points for completing the course evaluation. So it's pretty easy. Just make sure you get to that dashboard page that shows a check mark. I need to be able to clearly see our class name and show some proof that it's been completed. And usually when you get that dashboard page after you've completed the course evaluation that shows the check mark next to our class name, it'll show me that you took the course evaluation for our class. So that's what you're going to be taking a screenshot of and then uploading it into the bonus points folder. You're not going to see that right now when we're doing this short little lecture video, but that's where it's going to be, is going to be a folder on its own underneath the week 14 folder. So I'm going to scroll back here to our week 14 folder just to briefly go over what we're going to be doing for this week. And then of course, next week is Thanksgiving break. And if you don't have any assignments that you have to get caught up on, enjoy that week off. I know I will. I need it too. But, if you do have some assignments that you need to get caught up on and you want to still try to make some points for them, definitely take advantage of the fact that we have a week off and that you're not going to have other assignments that are due, and you can try to get caught up if you need to. So in the week 14 folder, you're going to see that I have a folder here that is the instructions for the final paper. Your final paper is not due yet, but I'm putting the instructions here so you can read through it if you want to, and you can kind of prepare yourself for what it is you're going to be writing about. You can start, even if you like doing some brainstorming, or you kind of want to start an outline or something just to kind of get yourself set up to where you kind of know what you want to talk about. I put the instructions here so you can see what it is that's going to be required for the paper. And then at the very bottom, you're going to see a section where it's going to show specifically what kind of things I will deduct points for on your final paper. I'm very specific with what things and what the point value will be if you do not have them included in your paper. So please read over this just so you can kind of prepare yourself to 3 weeks from now when the final paper is actually going to be due, so you kind of know what it is that you're going to be doing. But what we're doing this week is a pre-writing activity, and it's something that's going to kind of prepare you somewhat for your final paper, but it's also a good assignment that's kind of a culmination of a lot of the things that we learned about ourselves, things that we've talked about ourselves, some of the topics that we've talked about in this class, and you're going to be writing it. It's worth 20 points, and it is a little bit lengthy, but it is the only assignment that you have for this week. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it real quick, and then we will be done. So it does kind of go over how the culmination of our class is going to be completion of a reflective paper. That's going to be your final paper. So here, when you're completing this pre-writing activity, you're basically going to have these questions here that you're going to answer, and there's 5 questions. And I show how many points each one of these is worth. Now, what I would recommend as you're going through this is to basically just take it one step at a time. So if you're going to do this as a text entry, or even if you're going to do it as like a Microsoft Word document, what I would highly recommend doing, just so it's easier as you're going step by step from each one of the questions, is just to maybe copy all of this, paste it into the text entry box, or paste it into your Microsoft Word document, and then just start one at a time. Just go through this, answer the first question, just make it clear so I can see where your answer is. If you want to change the font color or something like that for your actual answer so I can find it more easily. Or if you want to make like a space or something in between them, so that way I can tell where your answer actually starts. It's a little bit easier when I'm grading, because if it's all smushed together, it's hard for me to find your answers. But if you want to just copy all 5 of these questions and all of the different things that it's asking you to answer, it might be easier to do that and just basically go one at a time, answer the first one, and then move on to the second one. You do need to pay attention, because while this one maybe only has 1 or 2 things that it's asking you to answer right here, some of these have different bullet points where I'm asking you to answer several different things within this question. And basically, if you don't answer one of these, you're going to miss a point if you're not answering one of them. You need to answer all of it, basically. So I'm just kind of trying to be clear so you understand that. This one on number 3 is asking you to actually write a paragraph, which, is usually 3 to 5 sentences. And you need to just read through that carefully so you know what it is that you're answering and writing a paragraph on. And this is giving you some bullet points here of things that you're wanting to touch on in that paragraph whenever you're writing it. And then for number 4, you are going to kind of now delve more specifically based off of how you answer number 3 about your top choice in career, whether you already know what your career path is going to be, or whether you want to answer based off of what your super strong assessment was, which was the assessment that you took a week ago. and it gave you some career advice or career opportunities or some career ideas. And if you haven't chosen a career yet, you can choose to answer these questions based off of the insights that you got from that assessment. So when you're answering number 4 and number 5, you're going to be using that information or use the information just from yourself, knowing what career path you are choosing to go into. And for number 5, it's very detailed. It's worth 9 points just of itself. And you're wanting to basically answer all of these questions. And keep number 5 in mind when you are going to write your final paper in week 16, because a lot of this information that you're answering in number 5 could be good information that you could then take and actually incorporate into your paper to make it a little bit easier to find things to talk about and write about in your paper. So keep that in mind whenever you are completing number 5, that you can use this. And you can also use that career research assignment that we did, which I believe was back in week 4. You can use that as well because you answered some questions about either the career path that you're planning to go into or a career path that you're interested in. And you got some references already where you found some things online, and you can use those references in your final paper. So keep that assignment in mind, and then keep number 5 in mind when you are writing your final paper in week 16, because this could be information where you can take some of this and you'll be able to use that in your paper. And then you won't have to necessarily just write everything from scratch. You may already have some really good information here that you already wrote about for this assignment that you can use in your paper. So that's basically this assignment in a nutshell. And like I said, you can do it as a text entry or you can do it as a Microsoft Word document. And if you just want to make it easier on yourself so you're not having to go back and forth between screens, I would just copy all of these from number 1 all the way down to number 5 and then paste it into the text entry box or paste it into a Microsoft Word document. So that is pretty much it for this week. And then, of course, if you're wanting to do the health and wellness bonus points, go ahead and complete that like you have been and get that submitted. And then, like I said, you have up until, I do not remember the exact date, but it's at least the next 2 weeks or so that you can complete that course evaluation. So please get that completed just so we can get some feedback, and make sure you post a screenshot of the dashboard page that shows the check mark of you completing it for college life and strategies, so you can get 3 bonus points for that. And if you have any questions this week, just let me know. But otherwise, that is pretty much it. So I hope you all have a good week. I hope you have a really good Thanksgiving break if you're choosing to spend it with family, or if you're kind of keeping yourself isolated to not, be around people because of COVID or whatever. I still hope that you have a great week off, and I will see you all during week 15, which will start back on the 30th. So just make sure that even after the break that you're still checking in on that Monday when we will start week 15, and then you'll see more information here about the individual presentations that we will be doing. I haven't put that in there yet, but anyway. And then also, like I said, look after the week 14 folder for the course evaluation bonus point assignment, where you can actually put your screenshot when you've completed your course evaluations. It will be listed under here under week 14. All right, well, have a good week and have a good Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys back on the 30th.